What if I told you that one simple math formula guarantees that there will never be more than 21 million Bitcoin? Today I'm going to break it down, and there's no math degree required. I'm Michael, and this is Betirement. Here's the thing about the digital world. Everything can be copied. Music, photos, documents. A perfect digital copy costs essentially nothing. So how do you create something that's digitally scarce? Something that can't just be duplicated at will? This is actually one of Bitcoin's most important innovations, and to appreciate it, we need to look at what's happening with the money we use every day. Governments around the world have been printing money at an unprecedented rate. Since the year 2000, the US M2 money supply has more than tripled. Every new dollar printed dilutes the value of the dollars that are already in your pocket. This is debasement, the slow, gradual erosion of purchasing power. And it's not just the US. The euro, the yen, the pound, nearly every fiat currency has been debased by the government that controls it. And this is an inherent flaw in the fiat monetary system. Now, gold investors will tell you that gold is the answer, and gold has served as money for thousands of years, and for good reason. It's relatively scarce. But here's something many people don't realize. The gold supply increases by 1.5 to 2% per year through mining. And as the gold price rises or technology improves, gold miners find ways to extract even more. Nobody knows how much gold exists on Earth or in the asteroid belt. Gold is scarce, but its scarcity is not absolute or precisely knowable. Now, I get a lot of comments saying that Bitcoin has no intrinsic value. Let's address that head on. The US dollar has not been backed by gold since 1971. Its value comes from government decree and collective trust. A $20 bill is just a piece of linen and cotton. Its intrinsic value is just a few cents. Bitcoin's value proposition isn't about intrinsic value in the physical sense. Bitcoin's value comes from its unique properties. It's verifiably scarce, it's divisible, it's portable, it's durable, and it can't be printed or debased by any government. These are the properties that make something good money, and Bitcoin has all of them, enforced not by trust in an institution, but backed up by code and mathematics. And that brings us to the star of today's video, the Bitcoin supply formula. Here it is. The sum from I equals 0 to 32 of 210,000 times the floor of 50 divided by 2 to the power of I. If that looks intimidating, don't worry. By the end of this video, you'll understand every single piece of it. It's really just a simple series of addition problems. Let's start with that big Greek letter, sigma. In math, sigma just means add things up. That's it. When you see this symbol, all it's saying is do a calculation multiple times and add up the results. The numbers above and below sigma are called limits. They tell us where to start and where to stop. In our formula, we start with I equals 0 and go all the way up to I equals 32. So we're going to do 33 calculations, one for each value of I, and then we're going to add them all together. Each time I increases by 1, we enter a new epoch. Think of an epoch as a chapter in Bitcoin's story. The first epoch, when I equaled 0, began when Bitcoin first launched in January of 2009. Each epoch lasts exactly 210,000 blocks on the Bitcoin blockchain. Since Bitcoin's protocol is designed to produce a new block approximately every 10 minutes, each epoch lasts roughly 4 years. Now let's decode the numbers in the formula. 210,000. This is the number of blocks in each epoch. This represents how many block rewards will exist inside each chapter of Bitcoin's history. 50. That's the original block reward. In Bitcoin's first epoch, each block that was mined rewarded the miners with 50 brand new Bitcoins. 2 to the power of I. This is the halving mechanism. Each epoch, the block reward is divided by 2, or cut in half. So what began with a 50 Bitcoin block reward becomes 25, and then 12.5, and then 6.25, and so on. 32. That's the total number of halvings. After 33 epochs, the block reward is so small that it rounds down to 0. Let's walk through the math. In the first epoch, I equals 0. So we multiply 210 times 50 divided by 2 to the power of 0. Now any number raised to the power of 0 equals 1. So what we have is 210,000 times 50 divided by 1, or 210,000 times 50. That gives us 10,500,000 Bitcoin. 10.5 million Bitcoins, or half of the total supply, were mined in Bitcoin's first 4 years. In the second epoch, I becomes 1, and 2 to the power of 1 equals 2. So the block reward in the second epoch is 50 divided by 2, which is 25. Multiply 210,000 times the new block reward of 25 Bitcoin per block, and you get 5,250,000 Bitcoins mined in Epoch 2. The running total, 10.5 million plus 5.25 million equals 15.75 million Bitcoins. In the third epoch, I equals 2. So we take 2 to the power of 2, and that equals 4. So 50 divided by 4 is 12.5. That's the block reward for Epoch 3. So in Epoch 3, we mine a total of 2.625 million Bitcoins. See the pattern? Each epoch, the block reward gets cut in half, and the total supply issued for that epoch is also cut in half. This halving pattern is incredibly powerful. In that first epoch, 10.5 million Bitcoins were mined. But in the fourth epoch, which we're in right now, the block reward is just 3.125 Bitcoin per block. The rate of new supply being created is constantly shrinking. Compare that to fiat currencies, where the money supply is accelerating. Bitcoin does the exact opposite. The supply issuance follows a predictable, decelerating curve that everyone can verify. Now here's a fascinating detail. If you step through all 33 epochs and add up the results, you end up just shy of 21 million Bitcoin. You end up with 20,999,999.9769 Bitcoin. This means the total supply asymptotically approaches 21 million, but never reaches 21 million. This makes Bitcoin even more scarce than most people think. So why does all this matter? Because for the first time in history, we have an asset whose supply schedule is completely transparent, mathematically verifiable, and cannot be changed by any government, central bank, or corporation. Gold scarcity depends on geology and mining technology. It's uncertain. Fiat currency scarcity depends on political decisions. It's unreliable. But Bitcoin scarcity depends on math. It's absolute. You don't have to trust anyone. You can verify this yourself. You could enter the formula into a spreadsheet and confirm for yourself what the total supply of Bitcoin will be. That's the power of mathematical scarcity in the digital age. One elegant formula, 33 epochs, slightly less than 21 million Bitcoin. That's it. That's the entire monetary policy of the hardest money ever created, all written in one simple, beautiful line of math. If this helped you understand Bitcoin a little bit better, hit the subscribe button. I'm putting out similar content every single week. And let me know in the comments what topic you'd like me to cover next.